one person's shoe I do love is Tatum with his new Jordan's edition of shoes. Again, Converse owned by Nike, and you had a Converse athlete beat a Jordan athlete in the Garden, and they threw that up. But here's Jason Tatum talking about the health of the team after that loss to the Thunder, and also what they need to do moving forward.
Feel really good. Feel a lot better when we have everybody. Whenever that is, and looking forward to having our full team and at full strength for this last stretch. Just kind of fine-tuning things up, getting ready for the fun part of all of this. Should be a lot of fun and excited to be up for the challenge, whatever that may be.
So that's Jason Tatum talking after the 118-112 loss. Now, Tatum had 33 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, played stellar, 12 for 23 from the floor. But the Celtics as a team, 20 for 63 from three. But from shooting 15 for 36 in the first half from deep, they were 5 for 27 in the second. This was a shot for shot. They had the barrage in the first quarter, hit 9 threes, but ended up losing. This Thunder team is legit, Case. They weren't 100% either. Like, no Jalen Williams, who you can say is their second best player. There's 2 Jalen Williams. I'm talking Jalen, not Jaylin. I love both J-Will and J-Dub. But this is also a Celtics team. No Porzingis. He's still out with an illness. He's missed 7 straight games at this point. Jaylen Brown did not play well, by all admissions. He would say that too. And again, fasting through Ramadan, not making an excuse, but that's legit. Yeah. Like, if we found out a player played poorly and the night before they were out smoking hookah and drinking beer and they were hungover, we'd be like, well, yeah, that's going to affect your game along with being critical. Fasting, and I'm not criticizing anybody of doing this, like recognizing their religion and going through the practices, of course, like do your thing. But like that's something that has to be recognized too. Say all that where Jason Tatum's like, yeah, we got to be healthier. We got to be better. That's a good Thunder team opposite. What the Thunder did well was defensively they can match up. They have a lot of ball handlers. On offense, they're able to switch. And with the multiple scores they have, they were able to hunt down matchups. I'm talking of like getting a Carson Wallace matched up with an Al Horford. I'm talking about getting Henrik Williams open in the corner. And in a way, like the Celtics look sluggish on defense to a point. And on the opposite end, what the Thunder did well is blitzing the Celtics ball handlers on the perimeter, not letting them get comfortable even before they get to the three-point line, forcing the ball out of their hands, and not letting them settle down in the second half. Can the Thunder play that type of defensive approach for 7 games? Will the Celtics shoot this poorly for 7 games? Will they have Kristaps Porzingis for 7 games? This is more than a regular season conversation, Casey. This is when you get a team for a postseason series. And the only way we'll see these 2 teams is in the finals, which Ante Campbell and I picked Celtics in 6 before the season to beat the Thunder. Check out Hold My Banner for more there. If you get the Celtics in 7 games, will they shoot this poorly? It's out of character for them to go 32% from deep. But will you get the Thunder be able to keep up this defensive intensity? I don't know. It's just 2 games. The Thunder won both times. Celtics played better in the second matchup, but losing at home, especially 4 minutes down the stretch with no Jaylen Brown who fouled out. That's what raises the radar for a lot of fans on the status of the Celts right now.
Yeah, well, the key thing that popped out to me, and it's funny because my friend John, massive Celtics fan, he's just like, it's the poor coverage, it's the poor stoppage on the perimeter. And I was like, okay. And while he was sitting there just pouring his heart out as to why he did not want to see another loss come to the Thunder, it just came down to that. The Thunder are one of the better teams when it comes to offensively or perimeter game offensively. Some people didn't think that it would be that big of a deal because percentage wise it's gone down a little bit this season, but not enough. I mean, if that's kind of been your key game, hitting it up on the perimeter, then that's going to be something that no matter how much your percentage drops, that's going to be an element that you have over your opponent. And Celtics without Porzingis, he's somebody that helps out with some of that perimeter defense. He's also somebody that comes in strong in that rebounding category. So just kind of helping out the team in that way. But moreover, I mean, it's not worth hitting the panic button. I think it's something that they'll work through. I remember at the top of the season, something else that people talked about a lot was like the Celtics are a team that kind of falls apart a little bit when you force them to pass too much. So something that the Thunder just kind of has a capability of doing also. But it's a completely different game in the postseason. And with health being on the Celtics side, knock on wood, like I don't think it's anything to fret about just now when somebody has your number during the regular season versus what changes in the postseason.
Yeah, it's it's just how you match up with teams. And my big thing with the Celtics is putting up 63 threes is just insane. But that's what they're going to do. No matter what, they want to shoot around 50 threes plus per game. And it's for Joe Mazzulla, it's a game of numbers. And for Joe Mazzulla, it's a game of averages, or more of a series of averages. And I just go back to their postseason losses last year. A, without Kristaps Porzingis when they've lost, because he suffered that injury earlier. But also B, it's that it was the opposition is hot, Celtics are cold. It's how they lost to the Heat. It's how they lost to the Cavaliers. They ended up sweeping the Pacers. I could be mixing it up there. It was so long ago. But again, and it's how they lost in the finals, that one game against the Mavericks. And it's a law of averages with Joe Mazzulla. We're going to go out. We're going to play our game. We do not care. We're not going to blink. We're not going to flinch. And we're going to go that route. What worries me with all of this is that this is a big Thunder team. Like SGA is their initiator and scorer, just like a Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. It is insane to fathom that at their size, how big both the guys are, how good of shooters they are, how crafty offensively, and how deep their bag is. But they initiate both offenses, and they have multiple ball handlers around them. That they're both deep, they both play in the perimeter, and this Thunder team isn't as big as the Celtics, but they're built in the vision and in the dream of the Celtics. They have Chet, they have Isaiah Hartenstein, who are very smart moving without the ball in their hands. Both can be rim protectors, setting screens for other guys, and both have a good offensive package and complement each other. And on the floor at the same time, Chet is just a stretch 4 at most. Like Hartenstein is their 5, and that's how the Celtics can be. Do you get Kristaps Porzingis back? He's dealt with this illness since late February, since post-All-Star break. Like, did he get it when he was on that trip, wherever that photograph was him with the beach? Like, I don't know, but this is what you have to think about. Do you get him back? You're going to need him for a team like matching up with the Thunder. Now, talking about all these adjustments, and I mentioned the law of averages that Joe Mazzulla plays with, we had Natalie Nakasi. She'll be the head coach for the WNBA expansion franchise, the Golden State Valkyries. She was on Hold My Banner with Travis Thomas and Ante Campbell. Listen to her right here talking about what she's learned from being around Joe Mazzulla.
I actually have shadowed Joe Mazzulla a little bit because my connection with him. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, follow up. Tell us about that, Coach. You can't just gloss over that.
I think to keep it short and sweet, the reason why I wanted to shadow him was because he was the youngest coach in NBA history to win a championship.
Right.
If that doesn't stand out, to me, that was pretty much like, how in the hell did you do that? Yeah. And so for someone being young as well, I admired that. I admired someone who coached players that are very similar to their age. That to me is very, very tough. It's very tough to gain the respect and the authority that coaches normally come with. And so and just the way he even got the job, like that's just it's just all very tough situations that I really kind of wanted to pick his brain. And what I've learned by shadowing and talking to everyone on his staff is like they're just very well connected. Mm-hmm. I think that was the beauty. What I saw was the practice that I was able to watch was I didn't know what coach was number 1, number 2, number 3. Obviously, I know Sam Cassell, who's a close friend of mine, but I couldn't tell. And I think with that type of camaraderie, I think that's really special. I think that shows a lot about his staff and like how they gel together. And I think that feeds into the players.
Really cool from Natalie Nakase. Check out the full combo. Check out the latest episode of Hold My Banner. Awesome combo with her, Travis Thomas, and Ante Campbell. What's cool to hear about that case is that Natalie Nakase, she's 44. Joe Mazzulla is 36. Nakase played at UCLA, started her coaching career Germany, Tokyo, then was in the G League and the farm system, or you could say just in the development system of the Los Angeles Clippers. That's obviously how she knows the Sam Cassell and guys around the league. She just sees that come up. That's one of those things where, and it's again like what the Celtics team is, like they had a historic top 10 all-time season last year in the regular season, carried it over to the postseason. In their losses against the Cavaliers, there was no Porzingis or Drew Holiday. In their losses against the Thunder, they haven't been 100%. And this is a team, better or worse, it's all about the postseason. And it just shows like the level-headedness that Joe Mazzulla has. You pick up from the combo from her there. And I think that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, the level-headedness is important because when you mention the fact that they haven't been 100% when it comes to competing against certain teams here, then you kind of look to like how are the adjustments being made, and like are they being, I want to say, aggressive enough when it comes to certain adjustments, or being realistic enough. If you know you're going to be without a certain player, who can kind of step up and fill out those shoes, and like how do they need to readjust or kind of play things differently? Because something else in the postseason is which guys to lock in on, and that next man up mentality is crucial in order to get past your opponent. I mean, we had to see them get in a number of situations where if it wasn't the Tatum show, then what next? So when it comes to these injuries, if you know that's what's knocking you out, a guy who is getting high praises like that, you just have to lean on him on making the right adjustments and being a little bit more aggressive in those adjustments.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Like this team, again, not 100%. And then when they get everyone together, like, how dangerous they can be. And it's the biggest worry for me is just, what do you get for Porzingis in the postseason? And you get 100% Kristaps Porzingis, because he was injured, came back for the finals, was good for a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half, wasn't 100%. But they were able to outlast them. This Thunder team is different. They match up well with the Celtics.